Hello, hello, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another ES Futures trading stream. Today is Friday, it is 11:22 a.m. Eastern Time in the US. It is the last day of the week. Previous to or before the last big tech reports earnings next week. And it was a very interesting development that what this market has had yesterday, followed by heading into the close, the weekly close. All right. First, of course, in hindsight is really easy to do anything or to claim I did this or I did that, or you should have done this or you should have done that, right? But I have here, I have a couple charts here on the screen, apart from Nasdaq. I have Nasdaq on the left. The top left corner is the daily profile on Nasdaq. The bottom left are the histograms for the same day, and right beside that I have the daily for Nasdaq. All right, in that order. Let me see if I can. I was paying attention to both markets this week. This is Nasdaq. This is Nasdaq. This is the ES. This is Nasdaq as well. This is the histograms where I check volume. For example, I got reds, whites, purples. This is the daily histogram. This day, for example, happened like a couple weeks ago. Absolutely whites, nothing here holding this market with a gap. This is a market that got extremely short, right? And heading into today, the market closing the gap, and building inventory down below here in the lower side. This inventory here is important, and the same thing, very similar thing happened in the ES. Okay. What I have here is the ES, its histograms and its daily profile. What you cannot see on the screen is the volume, also for the ES. Big blocks, I believe you cannot see this either. Big blocks and bid and ask, or ask and bid differential at the same level. Okay, I don't cross the ask and bids. It's not, I don't have bid and ask, I have ask and bid. And because I am interested in who is, I would say, dominating the fight right now, right here, at this very moment. Okay. And while I speak, the market is doing this thing. All right. The interesting thing here coming into today was both markets, man. It really, there wasn't seeing. This is the ES closing at the 50s, Nasdaq closing at the 50s, very questionable, right? And what happened after that? During the overnight, you have all this inventory that get long, very bad location for any long, of course after the fact, right? Again, right? Then short inventory for Nasdaq, short inventory for ES as well. And something very interesting, next thing, really, really interesting. 400,000 volume on the ES. Now, the next thing heading into today, this is what I'm going to show you here. And I believe this at the time was the tail, market tail. The outstanding short covering that happened in the bond market. Right, really, really impressive short coverage just before the market opened in a couple periods. This for me was key, right? Kind of like increase the odds that we may see some short covering today, and also because inventory was very, very short, very, very short, right, during the overnight, and coming into the opening, one of the main very, very relevant piece of information was closing of these distributions in these overnight distributions. What the market can do relative to close this distribution. This was my very first piece of information heading into today's session. And what I have seen today is something that was within the odds, was something that I was expecting, maybe I was looking for also. There was crashing, I don't know how to say it in word. What is the word? Really impressive short squeeze that happened. It happened really fast in both markets, Nasdaq, ES, two waves coming until the market closed the gap. It didn't close it in the first period, which kind of like shows some sort of not too much conviction during this thing, all right? But short covering anyways. And when the market closes the gap, the next thing I start see is value, what happened to value. But before I start monitoring the value, what I'm checking now is this is a trending day. It has been so far a trending day. There's some accumulations, as you can see, in the daily. This is the ES. We have volume here. We have another node of volume up here. A very small one up here as well. But this can be the potential. This can be the next destination of this movement if it remains as a trending day. As you can see, right now, it has become a very emotional session. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 distributions. This is a short squeeze that's in progress. Short covering what I'm seeing here. There is no other trade. I haven't placed not a single trade to the downside today. Really, not a single one. Even though value, price, everything was pointing downwards, not a single trade was to the downside. And one of the reasons to do that is that this is the end of the week, right? This is the end of the week. This is the last week, the last day of the second week of November. And what we have next week let me look for that. We have NVDA reporting stocks. Where is NVIDIA? Right here, NVIDIA. I have here, it can be wrong, I have the 19, which is 19 is Wednesday. Okay, next Wednesday we have NVIDIA. It was, or it is, very, to say the least, very low odds that somebody or anybody that is in this market is going to face that number short, right? The Nasdaq has the tendency to move fast. Also, any kind of movement in one of these big companies have good odds, right, of being, or increases the odds that the other ones are going to follow path. So just in sympathy, there is no reason behind that, but just in sympathy, just keep doing it, and hence the risk increases. Now, another thing that how or was here coming into today's was what is the go no go level? The go no go levels we have in Nasdaq. I mean, this is the ES, my bad. This go no go level. Okay, let me screenshot this again. All right, we have this. We have both markets buying from the 50s, right? Very, very, very bad low. Okay. Of course, after the fact is easy to say that, right? The next thing down below, we got the 100 moving average, and the go no go level around the 6600. But before the market, before it can deal with this reference in the weekly time frame, which translates to this one was in the kind of like around this area, right? In the daily, the market has to deal with a couple of things. First is this trend line. We have talked about this yesterday, right? I guess I put it here during the stream, or I don't remember too much. Then the low of the range before you can get over here. I also saw another important reference, believe it or not, was September high, right? Why? Just because it's there. There is nothing relevant, there's nothing here actually, but it is just something there that can add relevance to certain levels, because traders have a tendency to pay attention to these things, right? Now, if this market's going into today, if this market, notice that the tail we have here is not that big as, for example, this day here, all right? Where's the other one? It's not that the buy the dip is not as strong, it's not that convincing as usually is, right? Or was until now. Everybody knows the market is trending lower in the daily. It has been a complete rebalancing of all these longs or bounce that we have here. Now we have a range, a wider range here, right? We have a wider range coming or facing or entering the end of the year. The upper side has this 5-week reference, 5-week line here, right? All those were of significance coming into the session. I couldn't I couldn't make. My intention was to do a stream early today, but there was just so many things to check. Let's check this one, for example. This is right. The 50s, the 50 moving average was all lined up in the ES, all lined up in the Nasdaq as well, right? And when I move those references to my charts, this is what I had. $50 down here, the 6600, the go no go, the 100 down below, right? The high volume area down here, high volume area up here, 50 there, and the gap. That's for the ES. Nasdaq was really, as I was saying, I don't trade, but I am paying closer attention to this market now. I am learning its nuances. I am more familiar with the ES, but we have a breakout of the 3-day range here. Look above and failure. It completely retraces. Another longs are squeezed here. Closes the gap. There is nothing here in this day. Of course, the next thing that happens, the accumulation of volume comes right where it was before. Unbelievably, like a week ago, something like that. And down below, no acceptance down below. And there is some slightly accumulation to the upside. It's not having that much. This is still a bait to the downside, believe it or not, right? Believe it or not, but what I am seeing here is, short covering. Now, I wouldn't be that sure because yesterday, as the market was breaking, one thing that was very different is volume coming. Look at that. Look at the difference between yesterday and its previous day. And this was really important, man. And at least for me, it was important because there was out of sync with NYSE, with the overall market. Right, look at this. There was nothing here, even lower NYSE. And when this start, when people start to realize, oh, okay, this market is going lower, that's when the market stalls. It stalls here. It was in the lower range already. It was too late to do something, right? When everybody sees, oh, this market is going lower, I better be short, right? And of course it stops right there. And today, the first thing you notice, look at the volume here. This is A, B, this is A, for example, this is B. Just check how much volume the ES has. Really high volume. Now, overall, the market really is not that much, right? This is maybe, how much, 10%, 12%, something like that. And as the day as the hours pass by, it's actually decreasing. Maybe 7 now, 7, 10% top, right? So there's no volume. The difference between ES and the market overall is notable. And that is it doesn't mean anything for me right now, but it's something that I am carrying. That piece of information is just weird, right? It's just weird, okay? I wouldn't short this market, or at least uh, know now. If somebody's very anxious to short, this market is giving no reason whatsoever to try to short it. None at all. Right? This is a trending day. Right? It's a trending day. It's a trending day to the upside. Look at this high in Nasdaq, for example. Right? Yesterday there was a trade here. I could say there was a trade here. The market just Nasdaq did not close this distribution for one tick, right? And now it's stopping right there. Okay, the ES has closed this distribution already, and is targeting all of this. Do you remember when I mentioned when the market, when I see volume start to pick up? This is when traders, when this market started to stall at the low, and all of this inventory now has been taken care of. All right, there is can still be there. There's always traders that are playing that wait until the last second to close, to cover, because they always think the market is going to keep going lower. For example, it's going to go in the direction of the trade, and many people trade their convictions and then forgot to trade what they have in front of them, right in front of their eyes. This is the gap. It's not, this reference is not valid anymore. Let me remove this thing. This was also is distracting. Now, what is next here? First, I would like to say that I feel like a fool because I close my trades. In hindsight, I closed it too soon, as usual, right? I just closed it too soon, a couple times too soon. I closed it when there was something here. I get back in up here. I was doing Nasdaq here. In the ES, the trade that I took at the ES was when this market printed 10,000s down here. It printed really nice volume. The differential, and this is when I start. This is now I'm using this. And let me show you how I use this. And all the blocks, right? All the bigger blocks were to the downside, and there's a bunch of I have noticed, right? Just the small ones were to the upside. But at one moment in time, where the volume, the 10,000K came, which was down here, I have this in this. This is this square here is just. I have an alert there that tells me, okay, here I have 5-digit volume, all right? The differential here, this was actually to the upside, right? It was to the upside. It's as because this is ask and bid, and the market keep going lower, and down below, it came. It went extremely high, right? And okay, you got something, do something, right? Of course, in hindsight, it's easy to talk about, but taking that trade was frightening. Really, it was frightening. And I am not in that trade. Of course, as I say, I look like a fool because I didn't hold into that one, but it is what it is. Okay, I'm really watching this market to see if there is anything here. If this market remains as a, for me, it has become too emotional now. Right? The distribution that I have seen, both of them, Nasdaq, ES, 1, 2, 3, 4 distributions. Let's see if the upper one is close. This market, look at how Nasdaq, for example, how close has stopped from closing the upper ones. If this market starts to trade sideways here, that might be the end of the movement. But remember, in the upper side as well, there's no excess up here. Okay, there's no excess up here. The pace of the pace tempo has decreased considerable now, but volume, at least for the ES, is extremely high, man. Really, extremely high. Right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 periods that has passed, and we have 800,000 volume total in the ES, which is about twice the overnight. The overnight was 429, 430,000, which is high for the overnight, and we had about the same volume, kind of like midway through the third period, was around that much. So there was a counteraction to that inventory, to that volume that was mixed but kind of slightly short. I would consider that what can fuel the short covering is already been dealt with from the overnight. What remains is are these distributions here, the one down here and the one up here. Now, the next thing I am checking here, and this is I have just noticed when I opened this to show you, is look at what happened. Look at what happened with this market, man. The bond market. It has a gigantic short squeeze pre-market, in the pre-market, and look at what's happening. All of the advances is just selling. Look at this. It's trying to retake the 50. It's being pushed lower, selling from the 50. Not a good thing. Again, you can put a trend line here. It's testing the lower side, selling from the bottom now. Selling from the lows. Let's check here. NVDA. There's NVIDIA coming in. Ooh, look at this big. NVIDIA is going higher, man. You have a range. You might close it. Yeah, NVIDIA may find earnings right at the center of the range. That would be, yeah, around the center of this 3-week range. And the highs here above the 50s. Let's check the big ones. Wow, Apple is very extended. Look at this range here. Boom, it's liquidated. You have another range forming here. Range, come down, range, come down, range, come down, range. Three-week range. Amazon. It's coming back into this 4-month range. This white. This area can be support, 239 can be support or resistance in this case, right? I'll call it here. You can see this market is paying attention to this one, not to this one here. Google ranging, some sort of liquidation happening there, but it's trending higher. Check the monthly. Meta is not good. Wow, look at this. It may come into this, into the, what that would be, the 500 maybe. It's last year, maybe this one or this one here, 545. Microsoft, Netflix. Okay, let's check another one. Let's check some ETFs. These marks are the ones that are moving the market. We have high volume in this down. This is a downside day. I want to see if this can, if it has higher volume, if it can recover this last day here. Bitcoin's being killed. What is this? Don't know what the heck is that. These are the sectors of ES. Industrials. Materials. What the? Don't care about that crap. Hold on, I just erased my. What's happening now? I cannot. My chat has. Oh. All right. I mess up my charts here. Just give me a second. I'm gonna fix this. All right. This is the put and call spread. Not much really. Put and call 0.6. There are more calls than spreads here. Natural gas, gold, silver, copper. Where's Bitcoin? Ooh, look at that! Ooh, look at that! Look at this! It's freaking Bitcoin. What the heck is going on here? 95. All right. Okay. It seems like the most okay, just give me a second here. All right. As I say here, there is no reason. The pace of the movement has decreased considerably. Very emotional, a very emotional day. When markets move this way, it the fact it moves really slow, it actually creates something that is not good for traders that are underwater, and this hope, right? They see the market going grinding its way high, then it comes back a little bit, and they start to feel some hopes that it's going to come back down to where they are short, to the short levels. They refuse to close, right? They refuse to take losses, and I haven't seen shorts throwing a towel here, but the conviction, I don't see conviction here in this market. A very technical trading. What the heck is this chart? Oh, this is Nasdaq, right? I guess I expanded to. Let me close it a little bit so it doesn't. In here, I just used the last couple days, right? Oh, in the lower side, for example, this has absolutely nothing. Now, for this market to find something, it can go actually, it can go all the way up to here, right? From the 200 right now all the way up to the 600. If that happens, that would mean that we have an outside bar to the upside. And that puts the market back inside this 3-day range and potentially targeting the opposite side. Doesn't have to happen today, but that's a possibility, right? And what is happening now, the emotions that we are seeing here, is something that I will carry, or I have to carry for. It's information that I have to carry with me until the market deals with it. Now I want to show you something else. I just remember something that I was checking when I was doing when I was early here. One of the things is this overnight. Oh, my bad. Where's the other overnight? Okay, this overnight here. Next really significant downside was this one. And when the market opened, there was tremendous accumulation here. This is what I want to show. Okay. I said, wait a minute. This was right before the opening. It took me. I was like 40 minutes here, just checking. Checking a lot of things that were. There was too much information here. Just to pay attention to, right? To be very, very aware. One of the things, I'm going to go back to this range here, all the time is right. The market make a stand or made a stand in this day. Yeah? Before it opened with a gap, before I mean, this was a huge downside, but it has huge volume in this area. The next thing, after a couple days, and I guess I talked about this before, it really just makes something very, very strange happen here. The market started to open this. The thing is, traders don't remember this, right? This market, as this market goes higher, I guess it was doing E here, it starts to sell off really fast. Pum, 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 pum. I still remember what happened here. Really fast, and it just stops in its tracks down here in what I have here, this area. It just stopped and was picked from that level and boom, go back, and the next period closed somewhere, you know, in the upper side of the period, right? Very, very, very high. As the market closes, we have a liquidation that stops right there, and this is just adds relevance to what happened here. Now, what happened after that, you know, is the market defending this area, really. And here comes the part that trading is not science. You know, I am not going to look for exactly the market stopping right here at this level, right? But I can see the market just tries to go lower, tries to take this area in general, and just can't. The next thing I know, where are you? Let me close this. Next thing I know, we have this day here doing the same thing, you know, stopping here. And what happened here before or previous to this rally that took the market to new highs is the tremendous accumulation, right? Tremendous accumulation of blocks here. It was just outstanding to see how many block trades was happening. At this time, I still did not have the bid and ask differential study. I was that study I started to build, I guess, when the market was up here or something. And I got it. I started to study here, as you can see in my charts here. From those days, I have this support resistance to which actually the market didn't care about this, right? The markets don't care about what I see in the charts. Market don't give a crap about what I think is relevant, right? It is me that have to see what the market does. I may have this area here or here or here, but is the market trading or behaving in certain ways that is going to give validity to those areas, those references? And I see another time here happening, the market picking up, and I have this reference here, right? This big arrow here that today I have moved that. I extended this arrow all the way to where it can buy, right? Not buy. I was intending to watch, to observe if there is see the market reacts to that area. Right? Very aware of that. And when the market starts to sell off at the opening, because it did happen really fast. It happened really fast. Both the ES and Nasdaq started to sell really fast. This one just didn't take it, man. And that's when I decide, yeah, okay, there can be something here. Let's take something But the exact thing, the why I did that, because I did that in NASDAQ first. Let me see if I can remember. Oh, okay, it's open here. It has some volume here. All right. It has some volume, as you can see here. Absolutely whites here. Selling just above the opening, tries to close the gap, fails and starts sales right away. I was watching, I had my, this another levels here, the 800 and the 400. I don't know why I had those ones there. But when the market started to trade through this volume, this accumulation that it built today, that's when I decided to get along. Right? Potentially targeting the distributions of potentially targeting the close of the overnight distributions, which it did. And that was the trade. The trade was not to close the gap, was aimed to close the distribution. And that's part of the plan, right? Knowing when to close, knowing when to take profits or whatever. And when I say yearly, I look like a fool now, right? Why you close too early, no? Why you close down here? If you could have hold, I mean, you would be way higher now. And that's the part that kills, kills traders. If you have a plan, stick to your plan. You may look like a fool sometimes, but in the long term, what we try to do here is basically survive one thing, log profits, and have a mindset, have a plan that we can stick to. And once you have a mindset, once you have a plan, once you have a hedge, is do it the same thing over and over. Right? What happens is many times we may have strikes, right? When we may be in a strike, in a streak, and have a couple wins, have a couple days, have a couple weeks in green, and suddenly we feel like we are, the kings of the world. And we start to break our rules, we start not to respect our plans, and we end up wondering, so what happened, right? When all the gains that we have in the previous days, all the gains that we have in a couple of weeks or months just vanish like nothing. Okay, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I didn't stream early today, but I was really focused on what was happening at the opening. And before I go, let's take let's have one last look at this market. NASDAQ has dealt with this shorts from this short inventory from this area. I think this is, I can remove. This market has a questionable high. It does have excess, has minimal excess up here. Right, but the volume is not that much here. The ES still has this upper distribution to close. It has the 6800 right there, and it may, I don't know, man. It is 12. It's 12 p.m. We still have a lot of time to go. This is just halfway through the session. This may be, I want to see if this closes as an outside day, which means that the market has opened below previous day range and closes above. Right, that is my main thing. Tempo has decreased a lot. All right, decreased a lot. I don't have any kind of bias here right now. This market can keep going, can keep grinding its way higher. It may end up with a spike to the downside. I mean to the upside. I give it the same odds that may close with a long liquidation, which will give some rebalancing at the end. And I'm starting to notice in here, right? For example, these are the laggards now are coming to the market, right there. Finally, right? Finally, after they were short in the market, they have realized, oh boy, this market is going higher. Right? Okay, I better be long here. It's getting riskier, but it still is a trend day to the upside. Yeah? It's a trending day. If there is anything here to the downside, right now, for example, what will happen if there is just one or two periods sideways, like a trade sideways here, value will move inside for both Nasdaq and the ES. All right, and that's a good sign for the longs. All right, unless you have any questions, we'll be calling it a day here. For the stream, I stay observing, monitoring the market the rest of the day. All right. I wish you the best. Stay safe.